Smackdown, February 10th, 2023 review. Let's get right into it. Smackdown is the absolute standard of pro wrestling. It's been the standard of pro wrestling in the last 2.5 years since Roman and Paul Heyman returned, aligned with themselves. And Smackdown got a big rating, 2.5 million viewers last week. She had a lot of boots to fill. Big shoes to fill, definitely. They need to get at least 2.3 million for this episode of SmackDown. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and the Uso tag team title match, the burial of Shit Raw, and let's rant about this superstar who returned tonight. So let's get right into it. So we start the show with Paul Heyman. He cuts a promo. He says he's got some words of wisdom. He says, since WrestleMania 30, since he broke the streak with Lesnar, he's always said, I don't deliver predictions, I spoil. I only say spoilers. He does call Dusty Rhodes a dumbass for having Cody Rhodes. He says the Tribal Chief's got a lot of problems at the moment with Cody and Sami Zayn as challengers, and also the Bloodline, not being with each other anymore. Well, at the moment. We say at the moment, we know what's going to happen. But the biggest thing he said was, without titles, there will be no Roman Reigns, which is a hint because he might be leaving after WrestleMania. Imagine a life without Roman Reigns in WWE. Damn. But we do see Sami Zayn out of nowhere, behind him. It was actually quite good we didn't get him to interrupt with a theme song and all that shit.
Sorry, says Roman Reigns' days are numbered as champ.
Behind him. And, Sami says some possibilities about Jey and Jimmy leaving Roman, Solo leaving, Heyman leaving, Roman Reigns, and the Bloodline will crumble. And they've only got 8 days left. Obviously, Sami Zayn is not winning in Montreal, but that went in. It was a good segment to start the show, a good promo. Obviously, we want to hear Sami Zayn's words about what happened at Royal Rumble, and. Yeah, Paul Heyman, great promo-ist, if that's a word. But then we had Jimmy Uso backstage. He's trying to phone Jey Uso. Obviously, I'm going to just talk about the Bloodline stuff first because that's the most important thing, the best thing on the show, and everything else is just whatever at the moment. But Jimmy Uso is trying to phone Jey. There's no message. There's no phone call. There's nothing. There's no sightings of Jey Uso. Where is Jey Uso? But we get the tag team match to end hour one, which I thought would have been the main event. It's a story. It's the biggest thing in WWE. Why do this for a main event instead of a dead, fatal four-way number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship? I'll get into that later on. But it starts tag team title match. Obviously Strowman and Ricochet versus Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso comes out as Solo. No, not as Solo. Literally Solo himself. By himself, and then he points to the crowd, and there's Jey Uso. Big, huge pop for Jey Uso. Great stuff. The crowd loves Jey Uso. They love him until 8 days, and until he turns his back on Sami. I don't know how they're going to do it because they're in Canada, but we'll see what happens. And they do retain the tag team titles. Obviously, they're going to retain the titles. They're not going to lose it to Strowman and Ricochet. It'll be a massive swerve and a mistake to drop the titles at this point. But they're happy, they're reuniting. And then we had Jey backstage. Jimmy asks the question to Jey, are you with us? And Jey has no response. Jey walks off, and we see Heyman listening. Heyman's listening, he's holding his phone. He's got a plan. I take it he follows Jey around, or he watches him on TV, because Jey bumps into Sami Zayn. Jey and Sami Zayn, they're looking at each other, and he says welcome back. Sami Zayn says welcome back to Jey. He also says he means everything. Sami Zayn said to Jey, Jey means everything to Sami. What he did at a Royal Rumble without attacking Sami Zayn, and he said there is a way out for you, Jey. And this storyline is just absolutely brilliant. It is. I love this storyline. It's one of the best storylines WWE's done in many, many years. Since Batista Triple H, the Evolution split. It's awesome. And Sami holds up a fist bump for Jey. And you think, is he going to do it? And he does it. Does Jey align himself with Sami Zayn? That is the question. But Jey Uso is the main character of his story. The main character to change Sami going for the World Championship. To let Cody go for the World Championship. So Jey's going to turn on Sami somehow at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in 8 days. And Jey Uso's the main character to swerve the story into the direction of Sami and Kevin Owens teaming up to take on the Usos and beating the Usos for the tag team titles at WrestleMania. That's how WWE are going to do it. Should be main event of night 1. It's the best storyline in WWE in over 18 years. Nothing's been close to this. The Summer of Punk, what a good pipe bomb. That was it. The yes movement, the Daniel Bryan unexpected rise to glory, if you will. It was good at the time, but looking back, it had a horrible aftermath. It was just, he got injured and that was it. Kofi Mania didn't live up to it. Becky Lynch's heel turn, it was okay for the start, but then it dragged on, and then she won it, and it was just, you're the man's man and all that shit. But this is awesome. This is incredible. Storylines is what people get into professional wrestling. It's not these matches. It's not fucking flips and dives for 25-minute classics. Wow, bangers, as people could say on Twitter. You know what people want to see? Stories. You get 4. You get, obviously we've got the Bloodline. We had Bray and LA Knight. That story, that was captivating stories. You put 2 more, you get 4. You're going to looking to get 2.8 in the ratings. You could be getting 3 million viewers at the Smackdown after WrestleMania. You need captivating shit, and this was really good. This ended with Paul Heyman and Jimmy Uso talking backstage. This actually ended the show with Heyman saying, "I want the Uso." Roman Reigns has said he wants the Usos to watch at home because you do not see everything live on TV. To get a TV perspective, Heyman saw the fist bump, Heyman phoned Roman, and something's about to happen next week because Roman's there, Sami's there. They're going to do a face-to-face the night before Elimination Chamber. It's going to be a crazy, crazy match. It is going to be a crazy match. Great atmosphere. It's going to be unbelievable. Now, what shall we talk about? Because there was a lot of... Actually, let's talk about the burial of Shit Row. Shit Row is a failure. They're shit. No pun intended, but they are shit. Shit Row, Hit Row, whatever you want to call them. I call them Shit Row because they're shit. They come out, they have done nothing in the 6 months they've been on the main roster, on Smackdown. They came back. They've done nothing. They garner no reaction. When you get no reaction from 15,000 people, I say it's 15,000, might be 10,000, but let's just say 15,000. But you get the picture. Thousands of people live in attendance. No shit's given. I see the videos on Twitter. They're boring. They're shit. They're not getting a reaction because they're bad. The bad guys playing, but they're portraying a heel. It's just because they're shit at their jobs. They are. They're shit at faces. They're shit at... being heels. But we got Drew McIntyre, Sheamus versus Shit Row, and basically this is a squash match for Drew and Sheamus. They play around with these. It's like Sheamus and Drew McIntyre when they're 5 years old. They're playing with the WWE action figures, and they just destroy and bury. I'm calling this a burial. They are. If Triple H just booked this for Hit Row to be like 2 minutes of just nothing, and Michael Cole talking shit about Top Dollar. Yeah, and they're going to fight the Viking Raiders next week, Sheamus and Drew, and they're going to probably get the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania, which I did a video about. Lacey Evans defeated Daisy Dipshit in a squash match. Cool. Daisy Dipshit, who's Daisy Dipshit? She's some random jobber. We did get Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green teaming up to take on Raquel Gonzalez and Liv Morgan. Here's a rant. Raquel Gonzalez does not need to win. She should not win the Elimination Chamber. Do you know why? This is Asuka's time. Asuka, she deserves this. Asuka's awesome. She comes back. She's fresh. She's new. She's got this badass character. Asuka should defeat Bianca at WrestleMania. She should go and destroy Bianca. But no, we're probably going to get Raquel. Raquel doesn't get the reaction that Asuka gets, that Liv Morgan gets. Raquel's not ready yet. Give her a year. Give her 2 years. Give her 3 years. then we're talking. But not right now. Not right now. We need Asuka to win this match. But it's just how she's getting booked. Each and every week she's looking stronger and stronger to get into that title. But the crowd isn't reacting to what WWE are booking for her. What they're writing for her. We don't want to see Raquel Gonzalez win. It'll be a massive mistake. It will be. I will be ranting, so look forward to that review of Elimination Chamber if that happens. Let's go into this shit. Natalya, she's cutting a promo. She says Shayna Baszler is a knockoff Ronda Rousey. Cool. And Ronda Rousey comes out after Shayna Baszler comes out, and Ronda Rousey, she returns. The big return everyone's asking for. Ronda Rousey's boring. She is now. 2018, 2019, okay, fair enough. It was quite exciting, it was quite new. She was a top face, and she turned into a heel for the Becky Lynch storyline at WrestleMania 35. But I've never understood Shayna Baszler. And now I'm bored with this. You know what they're going to do? It's going to be Shayna and Ronda teaming up at WrestleMania. They're going to destroy the Smackdown women's division. Loosely saying that they've got no division. It's going to be Damage Control, Io and Dakota Kai defending the titles against Ronda and Shayna. That's just going to be boring. It could be a great match. It could be a good match, to be fair. But the build, the lack of care I have with this, it's just, I'm just bored with this. LA Knight returned, yeah. And he says, quickly, he just said, I'm not focusing on Bray Wyatt anymore. I'm focusing on the future. And that was it. 10 seconds of LA Knight. But I love LA Knight. Yeah. Great stuff. Really, really good stuff. Fatal 4-way. I think I forgot how. Who cares? And then we had the Fatal 4-way for the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. 3 people who people don't really give a shit about. And you've got Rey Mysterio in there. So you've got Rey Mysterio versus Karrion Kross versus Madcap Moss versus Santos Escobar. They did promos throughout the show. Each superstar doing a promo to build this match. But for a main event, they really should have just done the Usos and had maybe a fist bump at the end of the show with Jey and Sami Zayn maybe. But they didn't. Obviously, it was four-man match, Fatal 4-way. You're going to see some, I'm going to say crazy stuff, to be honest, but it wasn't really crazy. You're going to see some high spots, but really, you had Madcap Moss win, surprisingly. I thought Rey Mysterio could have won. You could have done Rey Mysterio versus Gunther next week. You know what you're going to get. Big man versus little man. David versus Goliath-esque match, and have Dominic Mysterio distract and cost Rey the Intercontinental title, and catapult us into that story with Dominic versus Rey, which they are going to do. But yeah, Madcap Moss versus Gunther, you know what's going to happen. You know that it's going to be Gunther retaining the title next week. But despite from Jey Uso returning, huge pop. Sami Zayn promo with Heyman, and Heyman saying to the Usos to stay away next week, from the words of Tribal Chief. Everything else was not really that, it wasn't really that entertaining, but I kept watching because they kept going back and forth to the Bloodline story of the night, which they should do. That's how a wrestling TV episode should work. It does work. It makes people stay. So they must get 2.3 million viewers in the ratings for tonight's episode. But tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. Subscribe if you're new, and like the video. Thank you for coming.